Now then, here again, January 23rd, 2021, and I'm here pursuing my quest to rank, list and review every one of Rush's 19 studio albums. We've arrived at number 17. I've called the video A Surge of Adrenalin, because I've chosen Grace Under Pressure at number 17. Released on the 12th of the 4th, 1984, 39 minutes, 23 seconds long. An album made against the backdrop of world events, addressing current political, environmental and economic problems, as well as confronting some of Neil's personal feelings. It also reflected the current music trends encompassing ska, reggae and electronic sounds. The title was a quote from Ernest Hemingway, defining his definition of courage, which I put down for his love of bullfighting. He watched a lot of bullfighting, and a matador fighting a bull could be looked upon as having grace under pressure. The other significant fact for this album was it in a change of producer. This was the last CD or album that Terry Brown actually produced for Rush, and they had a few problems which I'll go into a bit of detail later, because in my opinion they directly relate to all of the songs on the CD. Anyhow, eventually Peter Henderson and Rush themselves produced the CD. I didn't make a bad job of it actually, because I think the sound's pretty good throughout the album. It was the first album I bought, well no, it was the last album I bought on vinyl. The next one, Power Windows, I actually bought on CD. That's one of the criticisms I have about it, which I'll go into later. Track 1, side 1 of the original album was Distant Early Warning. Another classic Rush opening track. Definite police, white reggae feel at the beginning. Great chorus, driving guitar from Alex, and fantastic guitar sound that continues throughout the album. The track eventually relieves the reggae beat behind, building up to a fantastic rock climax. The three of them really learning the songcraft here. Lyrically, the song works on two levels. One's a backdrop of world events, macro, which is brilliant, and the other is personal feelings, micro, which is brilliantly portrayed in the chorus. Neil being influenced here by several things. A book by Cormac McCarthy, cites the City of the Plain, a story of individuals facing an uncertain future in a dying industry. The City of the Plains, in fact, is a direct reference to Sodom and Gomorrah. Neil here is also posing a question of feelings. Do personal feelings elevate world situations? And at the end, that's magnified in the reference to Absalom, Absalom, Absalom. That's a cry of a father showing passion for his dead son. Track number 2, side 1, is After Image. Also a cry of compassion, this time for a friend. It's a tribute to Robbie Whelan, who Rush worked with. Taught Neil to ski, cross-country ski, and he was killed in a car accident in 1983. Musically, it's not your average Rush track. I remember first seeing it on video and thinking, they look like Duran Duran or Spandau Ballet. Geddy behind the keyboards, not with a bass in his hand. But definitely a synth-based track. However, it's amazing the way Alex fans time and the perfect opportunity to place his rhythm guitar. I do like the instrumental section in the beginning, where Alex brings it all together with a great solo work. And throughout the track he seems to be playing rhythm and bass at the same time. A great tribute. The actual definition of afterimage is an image that continues to appear in the eyes after a period of exposure to the original. So title and song and subject matter go hand in hand. Track 3, side 1, is a piece of music that I remain to this day absolutely in awe of. Red Sector A. The title comes from the area where the band witnessed the inaugural space shuttle flight at the Kennedy Space Center in 1981. We all know Geddy's parents' story from the Holocaust, but the song works on two levels again. Horrific historical account, but also a warning for the present and the future. It's here that Red Sector A is not only a VIP section at a rocket launch, but also a concentration camp for the past, present and future. Are We the Last Ones Left Alive refers to the fact that concentration camp survivors from World War II thought they was the only ones. They didn't think the outside world existed. And when they got relieved, when the actual Allies come into the camps, they thought the outside world didn't existed, and this is a question they was asking the troops. I mentioned Geddy behind the keyboards, indeed, without a bass, but indeed it works on this track, and it's live. It's a phenomenal piece of music. Alex's amazing guitar flirts with a synth-dominated rhythm, haunting melody, great chorus. And I think that rolling electronic bass foundation of the song give it that futuristic feel, reinforcing the fact that it's a song about the past, present, and a warning for the future. For me, the track is something to behold, a benchmark of excellence, particularly live. Track 4, side 1, the last one, is The Enemy Within. Part 1 of the Triangle of Fire, actually written backwards. Part 3 was first on Moving Pictures, Part 2 appeared on Signals, and now you've got Part 1 on Grace Under Pressure. Musically, for me, it's a melting pot. Ska, reggae, synths, electronic sounds, and a rock bass chorus. Guitar riff beginning, all these different styles juxtaposed together. Similar to what we see in Spirit of Radio, really. Because Spirit of Radio is 3 different styles of music, all joined up together. Definitely the highlight of Geddy's here. Great bass work. There's a live version I watched, and his playing and feel are absolutely magnificent. Indeed, the live recordings of the bands at this time are absolutely fantastic. They'll look a bit new wave, but the playing is brilliant. Lyrically, my interpretation here, the first thing that hits me, is the line, "Things crawl in the darkness, reflects, freeze from vapour trails. Experience to extremes, already work it, Neil's already working them angels." This track reflects Neil's quest for some sort of personal fulfilment. I got the impression Neil's talking to himself on one level, eventually gaining self-confidence, then encouraging the listener to wake up and develop the same. It's here for me at the beginning of side 2, where the album, I would say now, looking at all Rush's early released vinyl recordings up to Grace Under Pressure, that this side 2 is the weakest. I'm not saying it's no good, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm comparing it with the side 2 from Permanent Waves, Farewell to Kings, and especially Hemispheres. And I would say it's the weakest side up to them. The side actually begins with Body Electric. On the face of it, it's a simple melody on one of Geddy's less inspiring choruses. For a song so sparring in lyrics, it reveals a quite complex plot. You can simplify it or complicate it as much as you like. For me, it represents a struggle not to conform and follow your own identity. The phrase, praise to the mother of all machines, is the praise of the human brain, and the sequence of numbers 100100 is binary code for the capital letter I of Ayn Rand anthem fame. Nice coincidence. Musically, Neil's drumming reflects the faltering footsteps. Very interesting bass line. The music extends to the better clarity towards the end of the song in the android's functioning. I appreciate the track more for the close look I've had recently. Well, it's not one of my favourites. Kid Gloves is another song to be looked upon on two levels. Always take it or leave this track for me. Never really moved me. Bit of a slow burner though. Nice little chunky guitar riff from Alex to start with. In a track that he dominates. A bit similar solo to After Image. And an average chorus line and melody from Geddy. Telltale lyrics though. For me, at one level, it's a song about coming of age. The lines that it's cool to be so tough, and then turn him around in the last verse to be tough to be so cool. Suggest that. However, there is more. Alex stated it's a song about rolling with the punches during the pressure of finding a producer after Steve Lillywhite dropped him at the last minute. The story goes he promised to produce a record but dropped out, preferring to record Simple Minds instead. This goes to show that promised to produce a record but dropped out, referring to Lillywhite himself in an interview stated, "Rush hate me, and someone in their management threatened to break my legs. Geddy, who always has a decent word for everybody, said in an interview that he's a man not to be trusted." Lillywhite went further on to say that he could never work with a band who did lots of odd time signatures. Nice little poking fun at him in it to release a track in 5/4 with a little dig. Red Lens is track 3 on side 2, and it's a bit of an unusual one for Rush, but it's my favourite on this side. Musically, it's got a bluesy feel about it with a great bass line, some unconventional drum work, and some nice electric percussion from Neil in the solo in the middle. As I've said, it has some nice electronic work from Geddy, and Alex feels like he's washing the sound with elements of rock with his guitar, the way he twangs it. Lyrically, it deals with political environment, social problems at the time, reflecting Neil's concern about them. But also introduces a satirical side with the introduction of the National Midnight Star, a spoof newspaper on the Canadian comedy sketch show Second City TV. Plus it eventually becomes a news Rush letter, what I read a lot. It's true. The show had other connections with Rush. Bob and Doug Mackenzie with The Great White North singing with Geddy, and Joe Flattery, who appeared as Count Floyd in The Weapon in the backdrop to the Signal store. For me here, Neil aims to magnify his concerns through a lens. And by augmenting it, it was scare tactics from a satirical media platform, trying to stir up the listener into the action, and it works for me. Yeah, the last thing I'll say about the song is when I was looking through YouTube, there's a great cover, absolutely fantastic cover by a group called Beth Pattison with Johnny Sketch and the Dirty Notes. It's well worth a watch. It's a cracking. It surprised me how well they play it and how well they interpreted the song. I mean, there's scope there for another video with some of the great interpretations of Rush music on YouTube. Between the Wheels is the last track on the album. And another one that over this 2 week study of the album I've really come to appreciate more and really enjoy. Plodding synth beginning, acting as a building structure of the song. A bit similar to Red Sector A, but slower. It speeds up into a catchy bridge and chorus and back to its synth beginning before its driving chorus. Alex's best solo on the album and the track's climax with synth and guitar. For me, it's the extension of Enemy Within. Neil talking about the wheels of time and how they affect different people. Cathode ray would suggest he's watching too much television. Celluloid is another reference to entertainment. The pace at the start of the song suggests cruising in prime time, becoming part of a lost generation because you have never overcome the enemy within. It's interesting comparing the lyrical content in relation to the different time signatures. Holding the good time, holding on to yesterday, refer to lyrics as slower parts. The faster sections, under your speeding wheel, flashing by, wheels of time just pass you by. The speed of bung to bust, dreams of a ball of dust, rocket's red glare. Neil says this is what could happen if you get up from underneath the shakes, but you've got to be aware of the consequences. Love this song now. Pennies really dropped with me, and it's a great ending with a fantastic guitar solo from Alex. I'm ashamed of her as a Rush fan. The penny didn't drop any earlier. In conclusion, Grace Under Pressure is an album aware of the political and social upheaval of the 1980s. It's also one that mirrors the different musical styles of the period. Reggae, ska, electronic sounds. Geddy sounds great. Neil's lyrics are as intriguing as always. And Alex is all over this. For a so-called keyboard-based album, Alex manages to be hidden in plain sight, playing some fantastic guitar sounds. After all the problems about finding a producer, Peter Anderson does a decent job. Over the past 2 weeks studying it, I've grown to love it. I know it's the 17th on my list, but it's up against some other cracking Rush CDs. Criticism. As I said before, the original album, side 2 for me is weak compared to side 2 of the Rush albums. And I've also got a problem with tracks fading and not ending. In particularly on Red Lens, you can overhear other lyrics being said if you turn it right up and listen to it. I'd rather it just end rather than fade. Star of the show, Alex. Fantastic guitar sounds, and for an electronic album, he still manages to get that guitar in there. Some great lead playing and some fantastic rhythm playing. Little known facts, there's no acoustic guitar on the album. Our watermark, Alex's guitar sound. Lyrics of the album, gotta be Absalon on it. A father's cry to his dead son, brilliant. Presentation. One of Rush's less boring covers. However, the egg in the clamp on the inside cover, fantastic. Absolute fantastic. Further reading. This by Kevin Anderson. There's a little inscription inside it. Resurrection Inc. Kevin Anderson. There's a little. And also to Neil Peart, Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson of Rush, whose haunting album Grace Under Pressure inspired much of this novel. I mean, that's another video to do, innit? There's one thing about Rush. It isn't just the music, is it? If you follow where you're supposed to go with your reading, you end up reading Ernest Hemingway, Ayn Rand, Jack London, some brilliant authors, and some brilliant work. Right, that'll do. All that we can do is just survive. All that we can do is help ourselves stay alive. Keep safe, stay healthy. See you again for number 16.